In today's video, we're gonna be going over 5 tips to make your NinjaTrader faster and improve your backtesting speed for most of your trading systems. There's a lot of, unneeded features and sluggish behaviors from some code and some features in NinjaTrader. And today I'm gonna be showing you how to make it as fast as possible so you can spend more time finding good trading systems and building portfolios. My name is Jacob Amaral. I build and code and trade live trading systems for a living in the futures market. I trade over 10 different trading systems on the futures market, and my goal is to help you become the best algo trader you can, and as well as being as transparent as possible with my trades. So hope you enjoyed the video, and let's get started. All right, so the first performance increase is not using the add chart indicator method. So this method here, add chart indicator, what it does is that will draw the indicator in the backtest. So we added a Keltner channel. This is a Keltner channel strategy. Now we can see that strategy and the trades that it brings out. Now this is great for debugging, or if you're a new algo trader and you want to see how the indicators work with your trading system. However, there's not really a need to draw them if you're running them live. So I don't recommend drawing them in a live environment and simply just commenting them out in the state.data loaded. All you care about is in on bar update when a strategy is going to enter a trade, that you're simply calling the logic for the indicator that you're using. So tip number 2 as a performance increase is running your strategies in the strategies tab, not in a chart. So in the NinjaTrader main control center, if you go to the strategies tab, you can run a new strategy simply by right clicking and selecting new strategy. You can also run strategies in a chart. If you pull up a chart and then attach a strategy using the strategies button here, looks like a clipboard with a squiggly line and an X and an O. You can attach a strategy to a chart. Now, when you have lots of strategies, it can get very slow. So what I recommend is not running your strategy in a chart, especially if you have 20, 30 plus strategies. However, charts are nice to see how your trading system is doing from a visual perspective. And most beginners, I'd recommend running charts with your trading systems. However, once you start pushing 20, 30 strategies, it gets a little bit much and you don't need all of those charts. But having no charts will definitely increase your performance of NinjaTrader when running it, especially if you're backtesting on the system as well. It'd be a lot faster if you don't have charts. Tip number 3 is reducing your days to load on a running strategy. So when you have a running strategy in Ninja, if you edit the strategy like I am on the screen, there's a days to load parameter here. And what that does is when you start the strategy, it will load 5 days prior to update any indicator or price action levels that you need. Now, usually for most intraday systems, all you need is 5 days, maybe 3 or 4 days to be honest, but the default is 5 and that's plenty. You won't need the last 90 days or 100 days. However, if your strategy is looking at some piece of data, 200 days ago or 200 bars ago, keep that in mind when it comes to days to load. For example, if you're running a daily strategy, so a strategy that runs on daily bars, and you're using the 200 SMA, the 200 period SMA, well, on days, you would have to load 200 days prior to make sure that SMA has enough data to make decisions for your trading system, or you won't see any trades. So keep in mind what the strategy is and how far it needs to look back for indicator values or price action levels. But for the most part, you can use 5 days for intraday systems. Daily systems, you want to load probably 20 to 30 days. But having that number too big, like 90 or 100 or 200, is just too much and will slow down when you run a strategy. It'll just take a really long time for it to start. It probably won't affect your day-to-day usage of NinjaTrader, but starting strategies will be small, and definitely stick to the defaults for the most part. The few exceptions are if you need a lot of data to load to run your strategy. All right, tip number 4 to being more efficient is using the is instantiated on each optimization iteration, setting it to false. What that does is when it's false, anytime you run an optimization in NinjaTrader, it won't instantiate a new object of that strategy every time and actually reuse the existing one. And you notice a lot of performance increases when you run optimizations in NinjaTrader. So once again, in NinjaTrader, to run an optimization, you pull up the strategy analyzer. So you go to here, let's pull it up. If you want to optimize a strategy, you go to new and then strategy analyzer. And then you change the backtest type to optimization, all right? And what that does is that allows you to optimize your parameters values, or your strategy's parameters, I should say. So if I select this strategy here, backcountry on optimization, let's pick one that has parameters on it. Let's do blue lightning. We can see that now the profit target and stop loss have semicolons in it. And what that is that's I'll expand that. That's a minimum and max value that we can try for those profit targets and stop losses. So when you set that is instantiated on each optimization to false, it will actually reuse the object over and over again and not instantiate a new object of that class. In the comment below, I'll link an article to this and how it works further, but definitely want to set it to false for most parts. There is a downside. If you're using a lot of private variables and a lot of class variables, you may want to reset them in your set default state when you're using this. Depends on how complex your strategy is. If it's a relatively simple strategy, you won't need to worry about that. But anytime you're storing variables or lists or arrays, you may want to reset them if this is set to false. If it's set to true, every optimization iteration is going to essentially instantiate a new object every time. Thus, it could take a while for your optimization to run. So setting that to false, we'll see benefits for you for any optimization for a strategy. Once again, that's in the set default state, and it's called is instantiated on each optimization iteration. You want to set that to false. And tip number 5, the last tip, is making sure include trade history in backtest is set to false. All right. So by default, it is set to false. You usually don't have to worry about this. However, you may want to set it to true if you want to grab data from your strategies. For example, I have an automated system that runs at the end of each day, and it gets the P&Ls from each of my running strategies. So it gets all the P&Ls. I'll actually show you on my dev server. It'll get all the P&Ls for these strategies and how they did in Sim and actually push it to an Excel sheet. If include trade history in backtest is false, it will not be able to get that data because by default, Ninja sets that to false to save memory, right? So by default, it's already enabled and you don't have to do it. And it saves you a lot of memory. However, if you want to start tracking data for your strategies running in Sim, you do have to set it to true to get that, basically to automatically get the previous trades and P&L for each system. So disabling that will save you a lot of memory, and by default it is disabled, so you usually don't have to worry about it. I'll give you guys a bonus too on another efficiency when it comes to running Ninja. So anytime you run a backtest, it actually saves that backtest in the documents folder, and over time it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you'll notice when you run Strategy Analyzer, it'll take slower and slower to load. So to access that, if you right click Strategy Analyzer at the bottom here, anywhere in this gray space, and hit show log, it'll show you all your previous backtests that you've ran. Now sometimes this is handy. Sometimes you want to go back to a backtest you ran last week or yesterday to get that. But if you keep this clean and empty, your Strategy Analyzer will be faster. So to remove your previous backtest, what you can do is right click and select remove all non-pinned. Now, if you need a backtest, if there's a specific one you need or you want to save them, then don't do this. Or you can pin one here on the right, left click it, and then you can click remove all non-pinned, and that will keep the saved backtest. An example, this Keltner ES20 strategy, it kept it and deleted all the others. And now when I open Strategy Analyzer, you'll notice it's going to be a lot faster. So if I go to Strategy Analyzer, it should be faster than it was before. Yeah, relatively pretty quick, but over time it does build up and get slower. So there is 5 tips plus a bonus on how to operate NinjaTrader better and faster. Hopefully you can use this to run quicker backtests, to test more strategies more efficiently, and find alpha quicker in the markets. Let me know in the comments below if this helped you, and we'll see you next week. Peace, guys.